ATTA. You will be seeing the link if you want to call in, ask questions, chop it up. I am also streaming live on X.com. That's on my account. And I'm also streaming on Rumble. But we will be transitioning at some point in this broadcast to our own personal sites. And so when we get to the nitty gritty, like when we start doing the little charts, going over some of these options that I'm in, these options contracts, when I'm sharing real numbers with y'all, we'll be transitioning to Know the Ledger's personal websites or properties, and then also to HERUtrades.com. You will just go to the live broadcast selection on the website, and we're going to do it from there. So, you know, for those who don't know, the purpose of this all is to have personal sovereignty. And so Brother Anthony Muhammad was way ahead of the pack on that by creating SANKOFA Revolutionary Radio, where we control our own messages and we are not subject to frivolous censorship from the so-called powers that be. And so we're just going full circle and making sure that we are able to give you this type of ism, this type of information that you need on a regular basis without any interference at all. Because what we know is that this system that we're living in is a global system. Does not want to teach you how to thrive in the area of health, and does not want to teach you how to thrive in the area of wealth. And what we're doing is we're presenting a stopgap on that through our different circles of influence with Know the Ledge TV, Know the Ledge Media, Know the Ledger, SANKOFA Revolutionary Radio, and then Herbal Results and HERU Trades. And, you know, we just come together in a way that makes sense, where we can bring value to our different audiences, where a lot of times our audiences are cross-pollinated. So we wanted to make sure that this is regular programming. Every 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Mondays and Wednesdays, you're going to catch us, and we're going to be chopping up health, and we're going to go over scientific studies. We're going to go over the side effects of the drugs that you've been told to take. We're going to go over the successful results by using herbal results and other modalities. We'll also on Wednesdays cover health, where we talk about wealth, where we talk about investing. We talk about Forex trading. We talk about stocks and options trading, buying gold and silver, how you actually do it, how you buy stocks, how you invest overseas, how you set up businesses overseas, how you set up businesses if you're in the United States, how you set up businesses in the Caribbean, how you buy land. And these are all direct things that I've done, so I can share my experiences. And I'll also be having guests come in. This is going to be a very important part of the show, where we're going to have our own guests come in and talk about different value that they can bring to the listeners. And so today we are going to have a guest. We're going to have a guest in the field of real estate. Anyone who owns a house, or even you're renting a house, what we've done is we've been able to bring you all a virtual handyman. So anyone who knows anything about real estate is that there's maintenance costs. And most of your monthly income from real estate gets eaten up for maintenance costs. And even if you own a house and you're not doing a business, a lot of the expenses of owning a house is maintenance costs. And a lot of that comes from not being able to do simple maintenance yourself, because you just don't know about it. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to present to you later on in this call someone who is able to advise you on maintenance. Because when we talk about investing, every dollar not spent is a dollar gained, right? So we're going to be attacking this whole wealth thing from different points of view as to how you can save money. One of the ways that you save money as a homeowner, or even as a renter, to some degrees, if your landlord isn't going to fix certain things, that you need to be able to fix things yourself without having to hire people who are going to cost you $500, $600 for a visit. And I'll give you all a very personal situation that happened with me, and I'm going to have this brother on very soon. He'll be calling in. But what happened with me was, you know, I have two AC systems. So my house has two wings, right? And so we have two AC systems. And so from time to time, the AC systems will act up. And just to call an AC person to come to your house is about $300 just for them to come to look at your system. So I was able to literally call this brother on WhatsApp, go on video, and he was able to show me my thermostat panel, my air handler, my AC system, and break down exactly what was happening. And I was able to fix the problem just by him walking me through it for 15 minutes. And he saved me $500 just from being able to make that phone call, right? So this is very important, that we're able to solve our problems without spending a lot of money. You all having some volume issues? Can you all hear? Well,
no, we're hearing you loud and clear.
okay,
On both ends.
Okay, excellent. So this is what we're doing. So when we talk about, this is very important, because when we talk about wealth, the dollar saved is the dollar not spent. And a lot of people's income is being spent on maintenance of their homes. I mean, you buy a house every week, it seems like there's something you got to fix. There's something you got to do.
That's right.
And when you call in these professional licensed plumbers or licensed electricians or roof people or AC people, you know, they've got to pay a whole staff. So when they come to your house, you are paying their whole staff just to maybe turn on a switch that you didn't know was off, or a breaker that was somehow tripped and you didn't know. And they'll, you know, say, oh, we'll inspect everything. And it was just a breaker switch that just got, you know, tripped. And you got charged $300 because you didn't know that.
I've been
right.
There. Yes, sir.
So what we have today is, and what I'm going to do is, just for housekeeping, for people who do want to call in, I am going to place the link in the Facebook so people will be able to make the transition when we start getting into these charts and what have you. But our guest has arrived. Next week, by the way, we'll be having a sister on, Sister Nicola Asante, and she's, I believe she's from Texas. She moved to Belize, lived there for some time, and now she lives in Africa, thriving in Rwanda. And we're going to cover some of the work. She opened up a homeschool business where she's been teaching children from around the world in a homeschool capacity. And so you're going to learn about that. You're going to learn about how she's been able to be financially independent and live in different places in the world, and her impressions of living in Africa, what the opportunities are. Rwanda is one of my favorite places. So she lives there now, and we're going to chop it up next week so that you all can actually see, you know, everything I'm talking about in practice. It's not just me doing it, but, you know, we got brothers and sisters all around the world putting in great work, doing great things, and living their best lives. And so I want to show you how it's done, you know. And so we're going to have real living models. Aside from myself or Red Pill Brother Anthony, we're going to have guests come on and really give you all value. So I look forward to it. I look forward to presenting this information with you all weekly, and giving you all a practical opportunity to escape the plantation. And this is what it's all about, right? And so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to post a link for people, and I'm going to show you where we're going to go mid-show. Probably around 10 o'clock, we're going to make a transition to our other websites because we want to practice sovereignty, and we are not going to be subjected to, you know, our people only being able to find us on properties owned by other people, right? It has to be properties owned by ourselves. I was going to have a conversation about capitalism today, but we do have our guest on. If we have some time, maybe next week or the next 2 weeks, we're going to talk about it scientifically, what it really is, why a lot of people have the wrong impression about capitalism, how its definition has been something that has escaped people, the cultural implications of capitalism versus other systems, the competitive implications of capitalism versus other systems. And it's going to be a conceptual conversation, but it is something to inform your worldview as you move forward. We're gonna get into all of that. So right now, I'm just posting that you all can on StreamYard, where you can call in. I just put it up. It is on the Facebook right now. So if you're listening on Facebook and you wanted to call in, you are able to, come in and chop it up with us. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pin that comment. But as I pin the comment, why don't we get started with our esteemed guest? He's in. Asked him to come in at 9:30. He was in a little early, which is great. It is great to be early. So what I'm going to do right now is I have put it up and I'm about to pin the comment. Okay, that's the call in. And then when we're going to get ready to switch over, I will also let you all know where to switch over. So why don't we do this right now? This is the schedule for the show today. We're going to have our good brother, the Universal Handyman, get in. And he's going to show you all how you all can tap in with what he's doing. We're going to look to maybe even have a weekly show with this brother. He's going to teach you how to save yourself thousands of dollars by being able to just do simple things around your home that don't require a licensed professional to fix. But you basically will call him. He'll get on a WhatsApp with you and he'll walk you through what you need to do. At least you can consult him first before you have someone come to your house who automatically is going to charge you $300 just for a home visit, right? And a lot of times it's just a little switch or a little filter you got to change and what have you. So we've got our good brother on right now, Keenan Rowland, the Universal Handyman. Brother Keenan, how are you? Your mic is not on.
Hey.
There you go.
Doing good. How about y'all?
Well, great, man. Happy to have you on. You are now live with SANKOFA Revolutionary Radio. We got a couple hundred people tuned in right now. The numbers always pick up as time goes as we're on. A lot of people getting used to us being on this platform or these platforms every Monday and Wednesday, but this is wealth results. And a lot of people may question why we're doing this for wealth results. It's not only just highlighting different folks in businesses that are bringing value, but one of the things about wealth is being able to budget and not being able to spend money frivolously, or not being put in this position to spend money frivolously. And the way I say it is that a dollar saved is a dollar invested.
That's right.
So every dollar that you can save is every dollar that you can invest. And we've shown people show after show what those investment numbers look like, right? And we're talking about whether you invest in stocks, crypto, or stock options. Every dollar that you're not flushing down the toilet is a dollar that you can multiply by 3 to 10x. So if someone understands this and they know that they could save $500 on a job around the house by just calling you and doing a quick WhatsApp with you, walk around with what's going on, that $500 that they saved calling you could be $500 they could invest it in some type of stock or some equity or some business endeavor that they're doing to grow that $500, where the $500 turns into $5,000. And we've shown that. So we want to get into what you're doing, man. Just want you to just big up the SANKOFA Revolutionary Radio crowd and then the Know the Ledge crowd as well, man. And just introduce yourself.
Well, peace, people. Peace, Brother Anthony and Brother Red Pill. And peace to the people. I'm Keenan Rowland, the community handyman. You can reach me at thecommunityhandyman.org. And to your point, my last call probably was able to save that person anywhere from $500 to $600 for a couple of fixes. And what was going on was they had holes in the walls behind doors where doors had hit the wall, and the door stopper was broken or whatever. And so for $30, I charged $30. I charged $60 for 30 minutes. And for that small amount of money, when he called me, I explained to him that he didn't need to necessarily repair the sheetrock. All he needed to do was go to Home Depot, spend $5, get some plastic round covers, and they're literally called wall covers. And what they do is they use adhesive to cover the hole. And so he spent the $30 with me, a little gas money to go to Home Depot, the $5 to $7 to get those wall protectors, and he saved himself anywhere from $400 to $500 from calling someone to actually do the sheetrock, or from $100 to $200 with him trying to do the sheetrock himself. So indeed, it's all about saving. The biggest investment most people have that own a home is their home. But unfortunately, most people don't understand exactly how to keep up the small things in their home. Obviously, you can't do all the big things, but you'd be surprised how simple it is to change a light switch. You'd be surprised how simple it is to unclog a garbage disposal. You'd be surprised how simple it is to even change a water heater. So we're a service that is pretty much vital to anyone who's a homeowner, to be able to learn how to take care of a situation, a small repair, and get a skill for life. You don't have to continue to call me for these things. You call me one time, I consult you through the situation, and you pretty much never have to call me for that again. You know how to do it, and can pass it down to your kids. It's nothing, for me, it's nothing better than to show people how they can help themselves in a situation that will better their situation. I started out doing HVAC because there was a need in the community for quality trade. And for me, I saw that HVAC was a niche that worked for my life at the time when I got into it. As I was doing HVAC, what I found was I would be in people's houses and they'd ask, could I do this small thing? Could I do that small thing? And as I started taking on different small handyman type jobs, I found that a lot of times when people would call me, I could tell them what to do, and so in speaking to HERU, I actually found out that there was a niche and a way to actually monetize the consulting that I was doing to a greater degree, because I'm locally in Atlanta. So I had been just dealing with the greater Atlanta area people that I deal with. But now someone can be in Las Vegas and give me a call and I can walk them through saving some money. So really it's all about saving money and being able to actually understand what's going on with the biggest investment in your life, which typically is your home, your family, and then your home, and
I think he froze up.
Another froze up there.
Yeah, he froze up. We'll wait till he gets back on, but I'm gonna tell you all from my own personal experience, this brother has saved me probably a couple $1,000s because I've had problems with my AC 2 or 3 times, and I was able to call him, get on video. He walked me through my AC system. I've learned a lot, so I'm able to fix a lot of these AC issues myself just by having walkthroughs with him. And you know, one, I didn't have to be uncomfortable in the house, and no one needed to be uncomfortable in the house where it was scorching hot because I live in the subtropics. I didn't have to wait, right? Because a lot of times when you call an AC person, you might have to wait 24 hours to 72 hours before they can make it to your house. And then when they make it to your house, they have a house visit fee that's just a flat fee for them visiting before they even do any work. So we're talking about 2 to 3 days of uncomfortability that I didn't have to deal with. And then there were several hundreds of dollars that I didn't have to pay because I was able to get this walkthrough. What I'm able to do with that reserve cash is I can put it into the markets and invest, or I can put it into my businesses and invest. And what you find is that this chips away at your disposable income every month, every 2 months as a homeowner, where you just don't know how to solve these simple issues, but these professionals do, and they're definitely overcharging you. So we found a solution to that with our good brother Keenan, and he's able to take your calls anywhere from anywhere in the world, man. So you could be, you can be in New York, you can be in Canada, you can be in Mexico, you can be in Brazil, you can be in Jamaica, you could be in Africa. If you have a problem, you can literally set up a time to call the brother, and he's going to walk you through what he thinks needs to be done for a minimal amount of money. And then you'll have an understanding. So even if you do end up hiring somebody, you'll already know what the problem is, and you won't let them overcharge you. Right. And this happens, y'all. Like, this happens a lot, where your problem could literally be a tripped breaker switch.
I've been there, man. I've been there. I wish I would have known about him a few years ago, man. I would save a bunch of money. And a lot of these, not all, a lot of these service providers, man, they're parasitic and not social engineers. We don't expect that, though. But it's revolutionary what this brother's doing, Brother HERU. Did you guide him along on that, Brother Keenan? He'll be back on to tell us all about it. But that's a revolutionary idea that he came up with.
Yeah. So, Keenan is a personal friend of mine. We've been friends for a long time. And so when we have conversations, we have very useful conversations. And, he's been in this business for some time, particularly specializing in HVAC. And my conversation is, and this is what I do with everybody, is how could you scale your business? Right?
Right.
How could you scale it? And what are other people doing to scale it? And it turns out that there are online handymen already who are doing this type of business. And my position
God do like you do, though, brother?
Well, there are people who've done that modality. Online, online handyman that you can just call them. It first started out with a handyman having a website, and you can reach him, and then he'll come to your house.
That's right.
But many of these things could be guided just over video, live video on WhatsApp or FaceTime or whatever, and like just as simple as looking at your electrical panel and seeing what might have been tripped, right? A lot of times people don't know this, and sometimes you might just have a fuse that went out because of some type of electrical surge, and you just have to replace the fuse, and it's quite easy to do. A lot of people just don't know how to do it, and because people haven't been taught, and they think that you need to get some licensed professional to change a breaker switch, which you don't. But there's some things that you do need to know in terms of how to turn off the electrical panel before you go into the breaker switch and all that. But, he walks you through those types of things. And like I said, with my AC issue, I just had an overflow of water in my AC system, and I needed to just pump out the water. And if I would have hired someone, I would have been charged $500 to $600 to do that.
I want to add on that HVAC has been reported to be AI proof. They put out a report. NVIDIA put out a report earlier this year. Either NVIDIA or Jamie Dixon from JP Morgan Chase, they said that they put a list of AI proof jobs out, it was not a lot of jobs. I promise you. It might have been 3, and HVAC was one of them. So they were saying that there's certain skills that the AI will not be able to, quote unquote, mimic.
That's a good point.
And yeah. So that became one of the talking points that a lot of the people that I know that do not for profits, they started drafting up all of these proposals and grants because they understand the language that's being spoken of. They know when certain things get put out there that is basically like a dog whistle for governmental funds. It's just telling everybody where the money is going. Because when those reports come out, it's almost impossible to get funded based off of these predictions, because the investors would say, well, why would we invest 100 million into this skill when it will be disrupted almost overnight?
Right.
Yeah. So a little bit of leverage for the brothers and sisters out there, some cushion. I think that when I saw the brother building on what he did with you over the phone, my mind went into overdrive, and I said, this is a service that we can scale.
Absolutely.
We can scale this service, and we can make this a connected type of thing in about 30 days, where our brothers and sisters across the diaspora, but most importantly in the 50 states, who are skilled up, who do have the wherewithal to handle these jobs. We need to build a network. We need to build like how they have Uber Eats and everything connected. We would fare better if we had our people come into our homes doing the work on our homes, and not hustlers and not charlatans, and definitely not people who don't even and this is no disrespect, but when they don't share the culture and the language, there's a disconnect.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, I mean, there's a lot of money being left on the table, right? And if you want to develop an economy, an insular economy amongst your community, what you have to do is you need to source everything from your own people. And I've talked about that. If you want to build an economy, particularly an economy that's based on a certain community that has a shared history and hopefully shared goals, what those communities do is that they source everything from themselves and then they sell to the rest of the world. So if I'm going to source, if I'm interested in what you call the velocity of money, the movement of money through the hands of my people, that is what will create a robust economy. So what happens now is that I know that when it comes to handymen or things that need to be done in the house, I can basically pay myself. And what I mean by myself is like in Rasta, when we talk about each other, we say I and I. So the I self in terms of myself and the concept of Ubuntu, I am because we are. If we start employing that type of philosophical approach to doing business with each other, what happens is that me feeding Keenan's family is me feeding my family. Because you have what you call a velocity of money. And if we're able to have a level 1 for handymen in terms of phone calls that can be just done remotely, then we have what Phil is talking about, what Red Pill's talking about, where we have different handy people in different places where they can actually do home visits, right? So one person covers Atlanta, another person covers Chicago, another group of people cover New York. And so you're able to source from this pool of people that they have a certain level of excellence and a certain level of cultural communality with you, or some type of cultural thrust that would help our people move forward in terms of scaling our economies. And so the first thing is excellence. So you don't want people to support you just because they look like you. You want to make sure that the people who you're hiring are excellent. And so we'll, certainly can have certain levels of criteria for people's work that we can, qualify the people as knowing what they're doing. But most importantly, the people also have integrity. Right. They're not going to overcharge our people. So the fact is that Keenan's been a good friend of mine, and so he's been able to walk me through a lot of things, and I'm very clear on what the prices should be because I can talk to him. as to what are the going rates for, you know, someone coming to do 2 hours of work on your HVAC system. He knows what those rates are. So this is very important, just knowing what the rates are. Even, you know, if it took you $30 to call in for 15 minutes to find out what the going rates are for this type of work, you know, and the person is overcharged at $200 and you paid Keenan 30, you just saved $170 in being overcharged. You see, so there's real value in having this inside information. And so, you know, this is the type of things that we like to do with this type of program, is to give you practical opportunities to make money and practical opportunities to save money. Because if you're an investor, every dollar you save is every dollar that you invest.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, and that applies to just about every area of professionalism and people activity, man. A lot we don't know, and the same thing in the legal industry, which is I'm in, and I give people the information, and sometimes they don't, Brother HERU, as you know, sometimes they may not even need that legal or an attorney. So you kind of assist them and save them a bunch of money. And folks have told me before, you save me a bunch of money. And I said, look, you don't need me. You don't need to hire me as an attorney. Here's what you can do. So it applies to other professions as well, my brother.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I remember when I used to practice law, people would ask me to do X, Y, Z because other lawyers were charging them, you know, a certain amount of money. And I literally would tell them, listen, you actually don't need to hire me for this. This is the form you need to fill out, you know, and just fill that out and submit the form. And they'd be shocked that, you know, I'm turning down $500 quick dollars. Mm-hmm. But the point was that, like, I didn't see any value in me spending time doing that form when the person could have easily done it. And yeah, I could have made $500 doing it. But to me, you know, there's other money to be made on more serious things. And to just be charging a 9 to 5 working person who's working minimum wage $500 for a simple form that they just didn't know that all they needed to do was fill that out, it didn't sit well with me, you know. Mm-hmm. But not everyone's like that.
That's right.
But there are some of us who are like that. And, you know, Brother Anthony is certainly one of them in the legal field. And, you know, I do that as well. Even with like HERUtrades.com, I got a lot of people who contact me and they say like, hey, I like to follow your trades, you know, and I'm ready to pay you for 1 year. Right. So for us, our 1 year subscription is $3,000. And like, okay, yeah, that's $3,000. But my question to you is, have you ever bought one stock before? And they'll say, no, I don't know how to. You don't even have Robinhood on your phone? No, I don't know how to. But I want to follow your trades and I'm ready to pay the $3,000. I'm like, listen, don't pay me. Please don't pay me anything because you don't know what you're doing. And you're going to have a hard time following me, not knowing what you're doing. And this is really for people who have some level of experience. But I could have taken the person's money. But the point is that what it does is that it actually starts spoiling your name when the person finds out that there were more things that they needed to learn that they did not know, but you took their money anyway. See, it all comes full circle.
Right.
When people start getting the information and they realize what type of unscrupulous person you really are, it ends up ruining your name. So what's the point?
Well, hell, Brother HERU, not only that, but as it relates to health results with Brother HERU, I over the years, man, I could call you at any time and you will not only give consultations, but you'll go over the science and go over the protocols with folks without consultation fees or any type of fees, just giving your time and love to the community, man. So over the years, brother, and up to the day, we appreciate that and saved a lot of lives and limbs, my brother. We thank you for that.
Yeah, I don't charge money for consultations. And the reason why I don't charge money for consultations is because I don't ever want to sell my time.
Right.
I feel like my time is too valuable to sell it. And if I get caught up in selling my time, just for me, this isn't just for anyone else, because I do so many other things. If I started making money selling time, then I would be spending more time selling it, right? Selling my time. And so I like having my personal freedom. So I don't want to attach my time to money. That's just me based on some concepts that I have. So, you know, people have health problems. I always talk to people for free. You know, I'll get on the phone with you. We'll talk for free, and I'll explain everything to you. Sometimes it'll take an hour and a half, but you know, I just see that that's just part of what needs to be done. But I don't want to charge any money for my time. You know, I got away from that when I retired from practicing law some years ago. Yeah, we were supposed to have Brother Keenan come on, but what I want to do for you all that were interested in what he's saying is I'm going to share his website for you all and just walk you all through it, where you can schedule time to call him if you got something going on in your house that's kind of, you know, you just have questions about before you hire somebody who's going to charge you hundreds to thousands of dollars. You might want to get a quick 15-minute consultation just to see really wagwan, you know what I'm saying? So right now we're going to communityhandyman.org. I believe it's www.communityhandyman.org. We are on there right now. This is the website. You all can see it. And this is the contact. You just click that for contact, and you know, he gives you the, you know, our story about us and all that. You just scroll down, look into that, and then I just can tell you he's been doing this for at least 2 decades now. One of the best handymen I know, and you know, whether it's plumbing, electrical, HVAC, certain construction things, is a good person to talk to. And then this is his consultation page, Anthony, and you just scroll down and you can contact him for a consultation and take it from there. You know, he has, you know, step 1, you can email him, and then you can get a call back and set up a consultation. He takes payment from Cash App or Zelle, through Cash App or Zelle, and he has the level of pricing on there for you all. So a 15-minute phone call before you decide. I think 15 minutes is $30. Each additional 15 minutes is $25. And you just go to www.communityhandyman.org and get this consultation before you end up paying hundreds of dollars for something you don't need. Now, on the other side, there are people who use YouTube, right? I call it YouTube University, where, you know, you can go on YouTube and walk through some of the problems. I found that to be very helpful. But what I found to be more helpful, particularly when it comes to troubleshooting, is having someone like Keenan walk me through the situation live. Because sometimes you still have to come up with how to solve the problem before you can actually, or what the problem is before you can solve it. And so that's where the gap is with YouTube sometimes, where you can, once you identify the problem, you can walk through a YouTube video. But it is nice to have someone live that you can interact with to solve the particular issue that you have. So just to throw that out there for y'all, that's www.communityhandyman.org for any problems that you got, y'all. You know, we're in 2026. Everything is being aided by technology. And so we want to make sure that we're leveraging the technology to better our lives and to save money. So that's key. We are at 9:58. I know that Brother Anthony, we're going to be leaving SANKOFA Radio soon because I know you have the 1-hour slot. Me and Red Pill will be on, but I don't know if you had any callers who had any questions, Brother Anthony.
Brother, hold on. Brother Red I got to depart soon as well.
Okay.
Yes, I have to travel today.
No problem. Brother Anthony, do you have anyone who had any call-ins?
Yeah, we tried to take that call, but they hung up. A couple callers hung up.
Okay.
All right. My brother said you have no questions or comments. Okay, good. All right. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. We do have someone who did call in. I don't know if you're trying to be added to the stage. Brittany, BLE. I'm going to add you to the stage real quick. Don't know if you just tuned in to listen or if you want to chop it up and ask a question. But I'll add you to the stage, Brittany.
Peace. Can you guys hear me?
Absolutely.
How you guys doing today? What's going on with you all? Blessings. What's going on, Red? I love you, brothers. I really do.
Greetings.
Oh, let me turn my camera on. Sorry. I'm at work, guys. I'm getting to this chicken.
That's right. That's right. I see you. Absolutely.
Listen, I'm so glad to be on live with you, brothers. I'm trying to keep up with everything that's going on, and my main thing is basically finding my tribe before it's too late. Putting my money where it can grow. I need to really learn this trading situation. So I'm here, I'm listening. I want to be tapped in. And I would like to talk to one of you brothers where I can lay my little money down so it can start growing. It's just me. I got a mom, she's 73, and I'm the black sheep of the family. I'm telling everybody, eat right, stop drinking tap water. They don't listen, so I'm just on the call for me and my family and just trying to figure out how we can move better and do better.
Absolutely. And I think everyone's looking for that, right? Some people don't want to admit it. Some people don't want to say it. But everyone's looking to do better, and everyone's looking to grow their money. And someone who's telling you that that's not important is not someone you need to listen to, or that's someone who's not being authentic and honest, right? So what I will do is, I'll let Brother Anthony, Brittany, I'll let him share a story, because Brother Anthony has been a lawyer for some time, and you would consider lawyers to be, some of the top educated class of our people or in a society. But you can go to law school and you don't learn finance. You don't learn investing. You can even get an MBA and not learn finance and investing. Sure. They don't teach you what needs to be taught. And so as I'm talking to Brother Anthony, we've known each other for some time. Brother Anthony gave me a call one time, and it was a very serious call. He said, "Brother, I need to learn investing. And please give me some of your picks." And so Brother Anthony already was able to download Robinhood, which I would tell everyone, if you want to get started, download the Robinhood app. And then Brother Anthony, can you tell the story from there and how it affected your life as someone who's a lawyer, who's very educated, but there was no real tradition of teaching us about investing. Even those of us who get Juris Doctor degrees or what have you, people would be surprised what we actually don't learn and are not exposed to. And so I'll let Brother Anthony share his perspective.
Yeah, at the time. Greetings, Brittany. How are you?
Greetings. Thank you. I'm good. At work, about to leave because it's 90 degrees outside, and I don't have a window in my office. So I'm like, all the black people like, we leaving today. I said, you already know, 12 o'clock, we out of here.
Yeah. Sometime back, brother HERU gave me some schooling on the market, stock market, and the likes. And I took his advice, man, on several stocks, and it paid off pretty handsomely. And Bitcoin was one that where he got in early, and I didn't get in as early as Brother HERU, but based on the tip, I got in around the 30s or so, right around that area. And it grew. And as you know, it climbed up to over $100,000. And Tesla was another one at the time that he was into, and I got in as well. NVIDIA and some others out there.
I think this was around 2016 you called me.
Right.
This was about a decade ago.
About a decade ago, man.
Yeah, a decade ago he called me and got in on this. And so, if anyone looks at the rise of the stock prices from the last 10 years, you see why Brother Anthony smiling.
Right. Yeah. I still got those thoughts. Hey, I'm in for the long haul, man. In the long term, you don't get in short and get out on some of these. As I listen to the brother, and the brother still tell you, but Brother HERU, Bitcoin will probably will continue to grow. It got down to 60, which was an entry point for some who may have been interested, because it climbed up to 70. Where's it now? $77,000.
Yeah, it's definitely on the rise.
And you got in what, Brother HERU? You got in what?
I got in under $100.
Wow. Oh, wow. He started in the beginning. Okay.
Yeah, I got in 2011 and was buying Bitcoin since then, and posting furiously about people buying Bitcoin. And of course, the know-it-alls in our communities and elsewhere said that it was a Ponzi scheme, then it went to $500 and it was a Ponzi scheme. Then it went to $1,000, it was a Ponzi scheme. Then it went to $20,000 and it was a Ponzi scheme. Then it went to $50,000. Then it hit $100,000. Then those same people were calling me asking how they could invest.
Right.
And then the banks is doing stuff with it, so it's going to be here to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for just those who don't know, the price is irrelevant. You can buy $100 of Bitcoin. You could buy $50 of Bitcoin. You could buy $10 of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It's just, are you going to participate in the appreciation of the price over time? Mm-hmm. That's the question. Those of us who got in early, we've made a huge windfall and have been able to do all types of things. Those of us, like when I got into Tesla, I got in very early and was able to leverage that money to, build a construction company without having to get loans from the banks. But what I want people to realize is that anybody who's interested in investing, so investing is different than trading. So investing is when you put your money in something and you're looking to hold that for at least 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
That's investing. Trading is when we're looking at different market moves and getting in a trade for a couple of weeks, maybe. That's what that's called, like swing trading. Some people do day trading. I don't do that because it's too volatile. But there's a difference between investing and trading. So people need to understand that. The safest thing is investing, where you put your money in for a long time. And it's not timing the market, but it's time in the market. Right. So the longer that you'd have your money in that market with, let's say, an Amazon stock or a Tesla stock, you'd be able to grow. But this is what I'm going to say to people, since you called directly, Brittany, and you asked a very good question. And a lot of people have these questions. I would say to people, before you invest, everyone should invest in something.
Right.
If you've got money and you've got a paycheck, a percentage of your paycheck should be used to invest money.
Good point.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just law. Now the question is what you invest in. Before you invest, you need to understand what investing is. Investing means that you are putting your money in something that you think is going to grow bigger in the future. So basically, we're into fortune telling here. But what makes you the more accurate fortune teller is someone who understands historical trends, present trends leading to future trends. Therefore, you want to be the person in the 1920s who saw the automobile while everyone else is driving horse and buggies.
Mm-hmm.
That you can say, hey, the automobile is going to contribute more value to transportation than horse and buggies. So I want to invest in this new enterprise early. And you put your money in that, and it ends up growing because you're able to predict the future accurately. So I'm going to say something to people that's going to shock them. One of the best ways that you can predict in the future, that you can predict the future now, there is a Netflix series called Black Mirror. I would advise anyone before you invest in anything to watch Black Mirror. Black Mirror has been going on for years now, but it is very, very fundamental in understanding where the future is going, whether it's good or bad, whether you agree with where the future is going or not, like it's going to go, right? So whether you're someone who agreed with email or not, or you agreed with electric vehicles, or you agree, it doesn't matter, or you agree with Amazon delivering to your door as opposed to going to the, store yourself, or you agree with digital music over, or you don't agree, you prefer VHS tapes, Blockbuster is going to shut down in favor of Netflix because of the way that things move. So once you can understand these trends and you can be able to see, oh, this is where technology is taking us. These are the industries that are going to grow. This is where I can put my money in, where I can outpace the growth of this money versus my income, right? Because what you want to do is you want to have your investments be greater than your income, right? So if you have a yearly income, you want your investments to grow past your yearly income and past the rate, definitely the rate of inflation. So the rate of inflation is really, the true rate is 7 to 8% per year. So anytime you have an investment, you have to have an investment that makes more than 8% per year, or else you will not outpace the rate of inflation, or you'll be losing money. So the first thing I can tell you, sis, is go look at Black Mirror if you haven't. Just go look at some episodes so you can get your mind into where the future is projecting in terms of technology. And then you start looking at who are the leaders in these fields of the future. So therefore, if you know in the 1990s that people would rather have groceries or things from the mall delivered to their house than go into the mall themselves, then the next question is, what company is the leader in this type of business? That would have been Amazon.
True.
So you'd invested in Amazon and you would have made 10x your money, even more than that. You get what I'm saying today?
Yeah.
So, and then I've gone over those things, which we'll probably do next show again, where I'm able to show people if you'd invested in this 5 years ago, this is how much money you would have. If you invested, and you can start looking at these things. And I would just tell people, go to down. Do you have Robinhood on your phone yet?
Yes, I have Robinhood, Bitcoin, Phantom.
Great.
So I'm kind of in certain stuff, but it's just knowing when to sell, when to hold.
So we're going to go over that. When you're doing long-term investments with companies that are dominating certain places, you're not looking to really sell those companies. So you're not looking to sell Amazon if you got into Amazon early. You're not really looking to sell Google. You're not looking to sell Tesla. You're not these are just things dominating their particular market sector. And they're always going to give you growth over time. There'll be times where it dips down. Nothing goes straight up. There'll be time where it dips down. But then those of us who are in this, there's a phrase called buy the dip.
Yep.
Buy the dip.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to get into this, on levels where I'm going to be able to show you all like these numbers. I do it every week. But for those of you all who are beginning, you have to have a certain understanding at looking at these markets. So what I'm going to do is I have a video on YouTube where a couple years ago I walked people through, before the Tesla stock split. I walked people through how I make money buying stocks. And it was like a 3-hour Zoom that I did, and I walked people through it, and it's still relevant today. And I'm going to share it with the audience so that anybody can just go on YouTube and you can go into my step-by-step approach. It is a hour and 54-minute presentation that I did on Zoom in 2000. This was before the pandemic. This was 5 years ago, or it might have been during the pandemic. But everyone who invested in things that I said has made at least 4 times their money.
Yeah, including me.
Check every single. We say including you.
More than that. Hey, another thing, Brother HERU, which you'll get in at some point. But once you get in, you're confident, or you get a tip from like Brother HERU, and you're pretty confident long term. Brother HERU, you set amounts at regular intervals over time, which is called dollar cost average. So you still, continue to put that money into these stocks, my brother. So at some point, talk about dollar cost average, my brother.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically, feeding the dragon.
Right.
Like you just feeding the dragon and letting it grow bigger so it can, spit out hotter fire for you over time, man. It's just every week or every 2 weeks you get your paycheck. And I referenced this book last week. It changed my life. It's called The Richest Man in Babylon. The Richest Man in Babylon teaches you every time you get a paycheck, you pay yourself 20% first.
Yeah.
Right? Period. No matter what. Before you pay your bills, before you do anything, you pay yourself first. And when you do that, you have money set aside that you can invest. Now, here's the thing. The ultimate goal is not for us to invest in other people's companies over time. This is just a measure where we're going to grow our money. But the point is to take the money and reinvest in our own communities, in our own businesses, so that okay, I've made a certain amount of money by investing in Tesla. Okay, so now I have this type of money. And let's just say that you come to me, Brittany, with a good business plan and a good business idea and say, HERU, can you invest a couple thousand in my business? I look it over. I have that money from the stocks. you know, because the whole point of it is that we as a people, as a person individually can grow wealthy investing in the stock market of these multinational corporations. But if we want all of us to get wealthy, then we invest in ourselves.
Yeah.
And we invest in our businesses. And there's ways to do that towards, let's just say you set a business up. What I want to hear from you eventually is, Heru, I got this business, and in 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, I plan to do an IPO. That's what I want to hear. Instead of you saying, okay, this is just a business that I'm going to do like a little mom and pop thing. I want to know that you are looking to actually go public someday with your business, where the early investors can get a windfall of millions of dollars. Because this is what wealthy people do. They're the ones who get told about, oh, hey, there's an idea called Uber. Do you want to do the first round investment? Sure. I'll cut them a check for 10,000. Oh, the stock is only worth 10 cents per share now, and I'm going to give $10,000. Oh, that's giving me, I don't know, 100,000 shares in this company, or whatever it comes down to, right? Oh, 5 years from now, they go public. I've got 100,000 shares. Now it's worth, you know, $10 a share. You know, for that 100,000 shares, I now made $1 million off of my $10,000 investment. And this is what these folks do day in and day out. And we're not privy to this information. And so this is the ultimate goal. And why I do what I do is that it's not just to invest in Tesla and other people's companies. It's to invest in Brittany's company. It's to invest in, you know, Phil's company. It's to invest in Brother Anthony's company that's going to go public sometime, because what we're doing is we are reverse engineering success. And these are the conversations that change the complexion of the relationships that we have with those who are oppressing us and those who are in our community that want to see us grow. There has to be a day when we're able to hire each other, and I can say, you know what, your son, your daughter ain't got to go get a job. They can come work for me. They don't got to fill out a resume. They can. I believe in nepotism. You understand what I'm saying? I'm with nepotism all day long. And right now, because of what I've been able to do, my son will never have to fill out a resume. And I want that for all of the people listening's children, that your children's lives are secure because mommy and daddy knew how to invest and knew how to set up a situation with businesses and can attract investors. Like at some point in this show, in the development of this show, I want this show to be where, guess what, a year from now, you got your stocks in place, you made your money in your stocks, you got what's going on, you're doing some type of professional business, and Brittany says, hey, Heru, I'd like to pitch to the audience my business, and we can all invest. So now we got thousands of listeners, and you call in and you pitch your business just like a Shark Tank. And guess what? We may have 1,000 listeners, and someone says, the 1,000 listeners say, damn, I got 100 on it. You just raised $100,000 in 10 minutes.
That's true. And I do have a game plan similar to that. And I'm going to just throw it out here real quick. I want to, like I was telling my group of friends, I was like, listen, we all got our credit all right. I'm kind of struggling, but I'm going to get my credit back right. Let's do one government contract. And if we can do a contract for 5 years, that's income coming in. And now I can focus on learning something else. Like, I don't want to be here right now. I'd rather be home really learning how to day trade or to trade or where to put my money at, to where I can think for an hour. You know, I can't even think because now I'm at work and I got to do this and I have to do that. So it's like, first step is, how can I put my money to where I can now go think for a day and I don't have to worry about, oh, I have to make these hours to cover this bill at the end of the week. So I have game plans, but it's like I'm kind of in my way right now.
Right, because here's the thing is that you're reinventing the wheel.
Don't reinvent the wheel. Don't reinvent the wheel.
But here's the deal is that if no one in your family or close friend group has done it, you have to reinvent the wheel. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make sure that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So that you can just follow the footsteps that I have. And I show you my numbers. Like I show, last week I showed raw numbers. I probably shouldn't.
I was on that live.
I probably shouldn't have.
No, I said I need to get underneath for him. And you kept saying, don't look at my numbers, guys. And I'm zooming in like, y'all need to be looking at his numbers. So, yeah.
And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you all the first place where you all can start, right? I'm going to share this screen, and you would just go to YouTube. So you go to YouTube, and you would go to this particular YouTube listing. It's called How I Make Money with Stocks, a step-by-step approach. So you just look for my name, HERU OFORI ATTA, How I Make Money with Stocks. And it's me literally breaking it down to an audience of people in Zoom for 4 hours. And this was in 2015. So all you got to do is look at all the stocks that I picked during that time and see how it turned out by 2026. Well, this actually wasn't 2015. This is 2021. I did this. So it's 5 years ago. So, you know, the stocks that I talked about was NVIDIA, Tesla. This was in 2021. And so if you want to look at the 5-year horizon, you know, we can absolutely do that, because I want people to check what I'm saying. Like, really check what I'm saying and see if the numbers add up, because, you know, people can talk words, you know, people get into word salads, but, you know, numbers speak for themselves. Yeah. So that's the link there. And what I'm going to do is on my Facebook, I can probably put that link in as well for people. If you want to look at these stock videos into like how you set up your stocks on Robinhood and how you analyze the stocks. You know, I'm going to put that in my Facebook right now for you all. Learn stocks. And it's really just approaching how you think about stocks. And that's more of a fundamental analysis, but there's also technical analysis. So I just posted it in the my Facebook chat for those who are looking at it. But then those who are on Know the Ledge Media and these other places, just go to YouTube, put in my name, and then put in the word stocks after HERU OFORI ATTA, and that video will come up. And sit down and watch it with your family. And you can double check exactly what I'm saying. Like, it's all there. I'm very transparent. And you could see if you'd have lost money on my suggestions or you'd have made money. And you'll see that you would have made at least 4 to 5 times your money by now. We do have another person in who wants to chop it up. That is Tamisha.
I'm going to put my camera off. I think you're getting her wrong. Thank you.
No
Thank
problem.
You,
Tamisha Thomas? Tanisha? Did you want to be on live, Tanisha? Your mic is off. Don't know if you were just tuning in to listen or you want to chop it up with us. You there, Tanisha?
Sorry, yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. Yes, I did not want to be on live. I'm just actually taking in the information.
Oh, okay. No problem. I'll take you off the panel.
Thank you.
Yeah, but hopefully this information has been helpful for you.
It definitely has. I definitely appreciate it. I've got a testimonial coming for the herbal results, but I just haven't had a chance to get all the documentation together.
Oh, yeah? What type of testimonial?
Yeah. Basically, I was the one that reached out to you. I have a daughter with celiac disease, and you suggested the olive leaf as well as the CBD oil to help her with sleeping. Mm-hmm. But there was a drastic change in less than 30 days in her liver numbers. And I actually have the documentation. I need to get it together. They thought that she was going to have liver disease. And in less than 30 days, that turned around and her liver function is completely normal. We haven't had a celiac outbreak since December of 2025.
This is great news. This is great news. And really, you know, when I advised you about that, you know, I was sure I would have told you about the dietary stuff and using the olive leaf extract to eradicate the inflammation, which was not being addressed. So she had, her celiac disease is very interesting because, they call it celiac disease or ulcerative colitis or irritable bowel syndrome. And they have all of these different things that really just inflammation that's happening in the digestive system. And the person is very sensitive to carbohydrates. And so we start cutting that out the diet. We start adding the olive leaf extract, and we start adding different, things into her body. The body starts healing itself. And that's exactly what you've seen. So I am thrilled. I am humbled and happy to hear of this testimonial, which I was not even expecting.
And I'm beyond thrilled. I'm ecstatic. So definitely look for that to come with the numbers to back it up.
Absolutely. We look forward to that because there's a lot of people suffering from these digestive issues. I am going to be very happy that we can provide another testimonial of how the problem was solved. So I'm glad that your daughter's doing great. Please tell her I said hello. And
I will.
I wish her many, many more days of health, wealth, and strength.
And thank you. We appreciate everything that all of you on the panel are doing for us. Keep going.
No problem.
All right, sister. Thank you for calling.
So what I'm going to do right now, because I know Brother Red Pill and Brother Anthony got to go. And we've done more than an hour, but, the people are asking to see certain things. So I gave people, let's see, a tip on the sulfur, right? And I can show you all at least what that's doing right now. And so, all right, I can show you all. So Ecovist. So Ecovist is the sulfur company that I picked based on the fact that the Straits of Hormuz was being closed. And I'm going to just share this with you all. And this is a free pick that y'all got from the last couple of weeks. Brother Red Pill and Brother Anthony, you all remember me recommending people get into Ecovist, ECVT?
Well,
yes, sir.
Not only do I remember it, I purchased it.
All right.
Along with the other ones. I purchased that, got in right at 11:40, somewhere in there.
Okay. So I'm sharing the screen right now. Again, this is just show and prove, man, to just show people like none of this is made up. All of this is real. So in the last week, so last week's show, Ecovist has gone up 5.8%. So you'd have made 5.8% on your money in 1 week compared to 0.01% you make with a Bank of America savings account for 1 year, right? So you've outperformed Bank of America by a factor of, I think, 500x by just putting your money into Ecovist for 1 week. You've outperformed their 1 year performance, right? For 1 month, it'd have been 20%. You made 20% on your money. But I have options. So options make your money grow faster than buying the regular stock. So look at my options here. Look at this right there. Total return. Can you see my total return?
Yeah, let me blow it up. And look like total, damn, 690.
Yeah, so the percentage is what matters.
95%.
Yeah, so I've made double my money since I bought this option. And I told you all about it. Like, I told you all about it. I walked everyone through my thinking, why I got Ecovist, because the Straits of Hormuz being closed, the byproduct of refining oil is sulfur. Sulfur is necessary to refine metals. So copper, uranium, anything that is a metal needs to be refined with sulfuric acid. And so if the Straits of Hormuz is closed and the production of oil has stopped, and there's going to be a shortage of sulfuric acid as a byproduct of oil refinement, the question is, what's going to happen to the price of sulfuric acid? It's going to rise Turns out that Ecovyst is an American company that makes sulfuric acid without the byproducts of oil refinery in the Middle East. So I broke all that down. And so it was very predictable that the price will go up because they're going to be one of the only games in town to buy sulfuric acid, which is going to increase their value. So because of that, within, I think, 2 weeks, my expiration date is September. So I've got a lot of time and I've already doubled my money, 95%.
Yeah, you picked this one at the time of the bull, man. And of course I got in. Now, question to you and others may have out there, long-term, short-term on this, and what's your future predictions on this particular company? Is it a good company to stay in long-term? How do you predict this?
Well, you know, my prediction, so I'll take it off of this screen. My prediction is the price should keep going up because I know the quality of American leadership. So the quality of American leadership being controlled by Israel is going to cause there to be an escalation of war, right? So in the history of the United States, let's say the United States, 1776, 1781, in terms of the Constitution being like ratified. So America has really been a country for the last 240 years about. And in the 240-year history of America, there's only been about 13 years that America has not been at war. Mm-hmm. So this country, by and large, is a war-addicted country. Right. This is the business model of America, conducting wars somewhere. So Iran is not going to just give up. They can't just drop nuclear weapons on Iran because it will spoil the whole oil industry for the world. So they don't really care about killing the Iranian people, but they do care about their oil assets in the Gulf states and the oil production, which is going to then take oil, prices even higher if they were to do nuclear bombs. The United States has used nuclear bombs before. The atomic bombs of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in the 1940s, 1945, they were nuclear bombs. Using nuclear weapons is not beyond the United States, and it certainly is not beyond Israel. They are foaming at the mouth to use nuclear weapons. But the problem is that they care about their money more than they care about people. And so where the strategic location of Iran is with the Persian Gulf and the Straits of Hormuz, if there is any radioactive fallout, it'll be hard to conduct any type of oil business in that region for the next 100 years. So they would have to resort to conventional warfare, which means that if they're going to do conventional warfare, it is going to be long and protracted. And if history is any reward for our research, as Malcolm X said, we would know that the United States was in Afghanistan for over 20 years and the United States was in Iraq for over 20 years. And Iran is double their size, double their economy, and more than double their scientific prowess in terms of engineering science. So I do expect that the Straits of Hormuz will be shut off for some time. I do expect the price of oil to rise precipitously over time, which means that there's going to be an increase in the price of sulfur. So I think that at least until the next 365 days, I expect the price of sulfur to go up, which means that the value of ECVT will continue going up, which means that I will continue making money in my sleep on that particular trade.
That's free.
Which means that you will be making money in your sleep too, brother.
I will be,
and if Red Pill got in on that position, he'll be making money too. And it's just as simple as just funding your Robinhood account and hitting buy on that stock. Right. You just hit buy.
Easy as
that.
Hey, another one you talked about, though, a lot of folks, may not have heard you, but I did, was the United States Oil Fund, which is USO. And that's another one, dear brother. You got in when you told us about it. I got in. I'm looking at it around 108, and I think it went up to 130 plus. It's sitting at 123 now. So thoughts and comments on United States Oil Fund?
Yeah, so I mean that's going to keep going up, man. Because one thing we know about Trump is he knows how to bankrupt things. So he's very good at bankrupting his companies, and he'll be very good at bankrupting the United States. And so if history and his credit history is any indication, what you'll do is you'll know that he's going to cause the price of oil to increase. And so we can just look at, none of this is speculation, by the way. Like, I'm talking, but I'm able to give you these numbers. So here's the numbers, y'all. Brother Keenan is back on. I don't think we'll see when Keenan gets back on, but I'm going to share this with you all. So U.S. oil, I gave everyone that one. I said, you know, you might want to invest in U.S. oil because the price is going to go up. In the last 3 months, it's gone up by 72%. So you'd have made 72% on your money. You'd have made, you know, if it's $1,000, you'd have $1,720 now.
Right.
If that's what you put in. So I expect the price to keep going up, man. You know, these are the picks that I have. And those people who are a little bit more skilled, you can just go to HERUtrades.com and, you know, register and follow my trades. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I've got positions on these things. And so, you know, I show you what I'm doing. I'm very transparent in how it's doing. And, you know, we take it from there. But, you know, I have a lot of things going on, man. You know, I recently cashed out of one of my positions. I wouldn't necessarily talk about it on Facebook. We would have to transition to HERU Trades. But what we do have is we have, okay, so I can show you all this. So Intel, and maybe I could save this for HERU Trades. I'll save this one for HERUtrades.com because I'm actually showing you all real money. And I don't want to do that on Facebook or YouTube or anything. When we transition over to HERU Trades, I'll show you all the position I have in Intel and how that stock option is doing. So y'all just hold on. If y'all are curious, we'll make that transition over. I know the brothers got to leave, but I'm going to send people over to HERUtrades.com, and you will just go to the live broadcast, which I will make live, you know, pretty soon. But we do have Brother Keenan on. Keenan, I did show people your website, but can you just get into further conversation about your business that will bring value to the listeners by saving them money, and what type of, you know, things that you are skilled in fixing and solving, what types of problems, or what people can expect when they go on, you know, and pay you for the 15 minutes, what type of conversation they're going to have with you, what type of walkthrough. Just go through all of that real quick for us, bro.
Okay. Well, first of all, it's a really simple process. You just send us an email, and within 24 hours, typically we'll get back with you. Well, within 24 hours, you'll have a scheduled consultation. And through that scheduled consultation, because in the email you send us, you give us a small description of what's going on. We'll have an idea of what you have going on. And pretty much what we do is we instruct you in, first of all, the safe way to do something and the best way to save money. So a typical call would be sometimes people will be just on the phone. You don't even have to always show me what's going on. But a typical call will be someone wants to change a light fixture. Well, we'll go through the process of how to actually turn the power off. With a light fixture in particular, the power is off at the switch. So you don't necessarily have to turn the breaker off to the room or to the area. You can actually just turn that switch off and all the power is off to that area. We also recommend the best tools to use. So for instance, for any homeowner having a tester, electrical tester, $20 tool you can get from Home Depot. Electrical tester will help you be sure that there is or isn't electricity. You may have a lamp that's off and you change the light bulb and you're not sure why what's going on with that. And so you end up calling an electrician because you just don't know what's going on. But you could easily know whether or not something's going on with your plug with a electrical tester. So we recommend tools that most people may not initially think they need, but they become invaluable tools that, like I said, the knowledge that we give becomes something that you keep for a lifetime, and it helps you upkeep your house. So with that said, the first thing we would deal with would be the safety, which is turning the power off. And then at that point, we would just show you how to take the old light fixture off the wall or out of the ceiling, and instruct you in putting the new one up. And typically that would take anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes. So you pretty much just saved yourself, what, $300, $400 for calling someone to do that. So that's the main value, you know. And to tie it into what HERU was just saying, you know, a lot of people don't feel like they have money to invest. Well, this is one of the ways that you're able to save money, and in your greatest investment, which is your home. This is one of the ways you can save money and have extra money to do things like invest when these opportunities come about. You know, and so, like I said, what I found is just there are 95% of the things that people call people for. It's typically just they don't have the knowledge and understand the simplicity of it. And my job is to demystify simple home repairs.
Absolutely. We love it, man. And I know that one of the biggest calls that you get is AC type stuff, right? And
well, yeah. Mostly because I started out in HVAC. I get mostly HVAC calls. But those are things that are very simple. A lot of times where people can, you know, take care of it themselves, or at least, you know, one of the things that I find that I've been very helpful with people is not necessarily doing any work, just recommending or confirming what another tech has told them. Because sometimes, like with HVAC work, I can teach you and show you how to change a filter. I know with you, I showed you how to clean out a condensate drain because your AC wasn't coming on, and there was a float switch in the condensate drain, and you just need to get the water out and clean it out. And that was a couple of years ago, and you hadn't called me about that.
Right.
You know,
no, and you saved me $500 to $600.
Yeah. And so, but with larger calls, so there was another instance when I actually confirmed what another tech told you, because I couldn't come to Fort Lauderdale to West Palm and do the job. So there was a guy you called, and you called me, and you know, so there are a myriad of different ways to help people help themselves and save money. And in HVAC, like I said, I do get a lot of calls, but I'm finding that and what's interesting is I've always been that way, especially with HVAC. Someone would call me and I'm like, well, do you know where your breaker is? Check your breaker. You know, it's no need for me to come out there, you know, but all of those different simple things is what we're here for, and why our service is vital.
Absolutely. And so I know that you're in the Atlanta area. So someone in Nairobi can call you.
Yes.
Somebody in Johannesburg can call you.
Yes.
Somebody in Kigali, Rwanda can call you. Somebody in Los Angeles can call you.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes. You know, before I started doing this, it's interesting because, like I said, I've always been trying to be helpful. I would be out of the country, and ironically, it'd be during the summertime where it's my busiest time for HVAC. And because I couldn't take a call, there'd be a number of times where I'm talking to people and helping them through the situation. You know, sometimes it may be something going on with your thermostat. A lot of people don't realize that your fan will run if you turn the thermostat on, and why there's an auto and an on. An on is when you want your fan just to run and you want air to circulate throughout your house, but it will continue to be on if you never turn it off. And throughout the years, you'd be surprised how many times the call was simply, and I'd be showing up to people's house just to turn their thermostat from on to back to auto, you know. So yes, I could be anywhere in the world, or you can be anywhere in the world, and we can be helpful to you and save you some money.
Absolutely, man. I think that this is going to be great. I see that your website is below your name, so the people who are interested,
Yes.
You see on the screen, you see Keenan Rowland, but below his name is his website. For those of people who are asking, I got people texting me right now via information. People are really excited by this. People are asking. Someone just asked us now, are solar panels worth the investment?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So what do you think about that?
The thing about our community, the answer is yes, most definitely. The thing about our community is a lot of times we're behind in technology, and so we're paying prices to catch up. However, now is the time, more than any time. And what I would say, if you're looking for some solar panels, you definitely want to look and see what they're talking about tariff wise, but you want to look outside of America, because China is the #1 producer in those supplies, and their prices are just way better. So I would definitely say that's an investment. That's one of the biggest investments I would say you would want to make moving forward with anyone who's a homeowner. That would be something I would recommend.
Let me answer the question this way, because this is Wealth Wednesdays, so we have to have an analysis. And so he's giving you the analysis from a handyman as to what he sees in terms of people's electrical issues, and the fact that you could wake up in the morning one day and the power company has just increased your electrical bill, right? And that's just what you got to live with. Why is that? Here's the problem, and I need people to listen to me very carefully. From the moment that you're an adult to the moment that you die, what they want you to do is to be a renter for the rest of your life.
That's right.
What do I mean by that? I mean that if you have a monthly bill that you can expect until the day you die, then you are a lifetime renter of electricity, right? That means that everywhere you go, particularly in America, every month you've got to pay an electricity bill. You're a perpetual renter. And what solar panels allow you to do is to finally become an owner of your electricity. And the position of an owner is always better than the position of a renter. Here's the reason. You see how oil prices are going up, energy costs are going up? Well, they can easily blame this war, if it's true or not, on why they need to raise energy prices. But if you've already got solar panels, even if you did solar panels on financing, you've got your price locked in. Usually it's 10 years financing. After 10 years, you own your electricity. You don't have a bill. And if you do have a bill, it'll be extremely minimal. So for those of us who invest and those of us who deal with money, we deal with numbers, the most important aspect of running a numbers analysis for anything that you're doing is the predictability of your numbers. Well, the worst thing is when you have numbers figured out in your model and your assumptions are wrong, because next year your electricity costs have gone up double or triple, and there's nothing that you can do about it. It throws off all of your financial projections. So what solar panels allow you to do is it allows you to lock in a cost. Even if the cost is higher this year, the fact that you have predictability in price is what's important. And so I have, my house has solar. I have 20 kilowatt solar system, and I have batteries as well. And so I'm off grid essentially. And my electricity bill every month, because where I live, you have to have the electricity on. So I pay about $30 to $40 a month for an electricity bill, just because I'm connected to the grid by law, but I'm basically off grid. Well, in I've had my solar panels for 5 years. In the next 5 years, once my panels are paid off, I live electricity free. I have no like all my electricity is free moving forward. And so therefore, when they talk about the price of electricity going up, it doesn't affect me. And this is where you want to be. You want to be insulated, right? You want to be completely insulated from the decisions of politicians. This is what sovereignty looks like. This is what Kujichagulia looks like. And so I've just taken time to like look at all the little pitfalls and the tricks that they try to do. And I looked at the proposition that I don't want to be a renter of electricity for the rest of my life. I don't want to have an electricity bill from now until I'm 100 years old that never stops coming. It never stops coming. So you get solar panels and you stop that. You stop that bleeding. And guess what? Every month that I would have been paying for an electricity bill after my panels are paid off is money that I've saved that I can put into doing options plays and buying stocks and investing in businesses and investing in real estate in different parts of the world. So I'm big on saving money, y'all, because every dollar that I waste is a dollar that I could have flipped 10 times, by actually not wasting it. So what I want y'all to do as an exercise for those listening, man, get a piece of paper and draw a line vertically in half. One side, the left side, is your liabilities, and the next side is your assets. And go over the period of a month and try to figure out what percentage of all the income that you have that you apportion to the right-hand side. And if you don't see much on that right-hand side, it describes the financial situation that you are in, because you are not portioning any of your money towards having your money grow, which means that you are running towards poverty instead of wealth. This is very important. This is very, very important. So, what type of calls, Brother Keenan, are like right up your alley? Because you've been doing this for some time. What are the most frequent calls that someone like you gets from homeowners or people who live in an apartment? What are the most common things that you see that can be dealt with right away?
Right away, I would say your HVAC system, which it stands, people look at heating and air, but the official name is heating, ventilation, and air. So what you're dealing with is the ventilation in your home. And so I would say because it's one of the most expensive replacements, the upkeep of that by simply changing your filter is one of my major calls, is just changing the filter. Changing light bulbs. Light bulbs aren't hard to change. However, sometimes you may have a cover. Newer covers, they don't have screws. They actually twist off. But if they're twisted on really hard and they're on there tight, how you get them off becomes an issue. Other calls are calls like the sheetrock call I was telling you about. So I typically won't, most of the time, sheetrock, unless it's a big repair. I show people how you don't have to actually repair it all the time. There are certain things you can do to cover it. If it's a small hole, especially like doorknob holes. We help with clogs, tub clogs. A lot of times people don't realize that versus having to clean out hair out of your tub, there are actual strainers you can use to put in your tub to catch hair, and in your sinks as well. So those are the main like calls I get, just the smaller calls. And then you get some bigger calls where let's just say a AC is not running. I may ask you to go outside and see if what you see, and then if you show me what's going on, sometimes I can hear that the compressor's not running. And so at that point, I will recommend you may need to call a professional for that one, because it's not something that I would recommend someone try to do. So there's a various range, but the smaller calls that we get regularly would be just like the light bulb change, the clogs, and the filter changes, things of that nature.
Excellent, man. And can you tell people just out loud how they can reach you?
Yes. Communityhandyman.org. That's where my website. It gives you all information you need as far as how to reach us and how to as far as the instructions and how it goes. And typically, like I said, you would just send us an email. Within 24 hours, we typically have scheduled you, and we are in the consultation and helping you through your problem. So communityhandyman.org.
Excellent, man. And I think it'd probably be good to have a regular show with you on. Brother Red Pill, what do you think about having a regular handyman segment come on to Know the Ledge maybe weekly in terms of the viewing empire that you're looking to build? I think this might be a good addition, huh?
I'm ready to take it a little bit further and do a live on the scene with the handyman. I want to show on site. I would rather, this is more of an on site type of thing. We have streaming technology, so we could actually follow you and shadow you on some of your jobs. I'm in the Atlanta area, so I don't have no problem with linking up with you and just going to work, because like I was mentioning earlier when you left, the HVAC has been called out by some of the top bankers as an AI proof job. It won't be disrupted. It will be disrupted eventually, but they said it's going to be the last Mohican to be disrupted out of all of these industries. So there's somewhat of not just a shield, but there's a reinvestment now because of there's a whole contingency of people who are not going to be dealing with the UBI, Universal Basic Income. They're not going to be dealing with AI. They want to do hands-on work, trades and whatnot. So the light is on you right now. They're shining the light on you. And in places like Atlanta with the children, the youth having an issue, there are a lot of issues with the youth right now. And I think jobs like this, trades like this, is one of the main answers to begin to get them right. You know what I mean? Because they're being steered in the wrong directions out here.
Well, it's interesting. You said it. You said that I got into this after I was 30, and why I got into it was I'm still a musician. Probably a musician first at heart and spirit. But what I found was in being useful to my community. My community or Africa in particular may not be saved by one of my songs, but understanding the infrastructure of structures can be very helpful to my community. And it started with me doing HVAC, and now it's grown to me being able to actually understand residential structures and maintenance and upkeep. I was actually watching something, and a brother was talking about how in Africa they took maintaining things out of quote unquote the practice and culture because it was nothing to maintain when the colonial situations left. They tore up everything and took everything that was worth any technology or industry at that point. So it is a very, very strong point, a very strong need in our community. And I've been telling people for a long time that HVAC technicians, you're not going to be totally shielded, but there are a lot of things that people have been able to move on, but you haven't been able to move on with HVAC technology for a myriad of reasons. It's almost like you have to create your own solar situation for HVAC because of the energy it pulls, that it typically has to be in a separate situation if you wanted to just do a solar HVAC type of deal. So it causes it has a few hurdles that they'll have to go over before they actually take the technician out of the game. Yes, sir. So yeah, man. We can definitely hook up and make that happen.
Shay, I look forward to it.
Give thanks. Give thanks.
Great. So we do have someone who tapped in with us named Gemini. I don't know if you're looking to come on live, but you're in the panel right now. If you got any questions, Gemini, or you were just tuning in to listen.
No, I was just tuning in. Thank you.
All right. Hopefully this program has been helpful for you in any way possible.
Very much, very much.
Cool. So yeah, someone did ask about solar. And what's very interesting is that myself and Keenan did get certified in solar engineering by the U.S. Solar Institute some years ago. And we just saw how valuable it was. And what it was that we decided that we wanted to study solar installation and design and engineering because we knew that, essentially we're a tropical people. And it makes no sense that the children of the sun don't have an understanding of the sun and its power of generating electricity. So we saw that there was a problem. And so we decided to go get further education and get certified in solar installation and design, which let me know also that, any house that I have has to have solar on it, or else it just makes no sense, or my education would have betrayed me. So someone did ask about Tesla solar panels, and I'm glad we can have these types of conversations, man. I always said to myself, we know that our people are advancing when we're not arguing with each other about identity politics or ego type stuff. And we can actually start debating like solar panels, like what type of solar panels are better in what situations, and, engineering, electricity, mathematics, science. Those are conversations that I like to have, numbers-based conversations. It shows that we're progressing as a people. So I would like to show you all, someone did ask about Tesla solar. So I looked to see what companies had the best deals in terms of solar panels, prices. I would be able to oversee the installation because of my training. I was able to get on the roof with them and give them my opinions on how this should be installed, where. And so I had a great time working with the folks at Tesla. They just had the best deal. They had the best financing deals, and they had the best prices for the solar panels. As a matter of fact, their price all included was many times 50% cheaper than some of the other companies that I got price quotes from. So I did go with Tesla, and I'll show you all what my Tesla app looks like right now in terms of solar, for those of you all who may be interested. Let me share. Let me see if I can share that. Let me see. Because I can't share on the phone. StreamYard does not allow you to share the screen on the phone. So what I did was I just took a screenshot. But let's just see if StreamYard allows me to share this image for you all. Because this is all very important in terms of being self-sufficient and having your own source of electricity. Okay, so this is the Tesla app here. Keenan, are you able to see this?
Yeah.
On the screen? Okay, just to walk people through it. So this is my home, and right now I'm generating 7.7 kilowatts of electricity. My house is only using 0.8 kilowatts of electricity, so I am making more electricity than I'm using. And what that's doing is that is going into my power walls. You see, I have 4 power walls, and so it is charging up my batteries so that when it's nighttime and there is no solar, my house can live off of the batteries. Right now it's charging it because I am creating surplus electricity. As you see, the impact, I'm 100% self-powered today, which is basically I'm off grid. I have not had to use the utility at all. And I've generated about 14.9 kilowatt hours just from the sun coming up till now. By the end of the day, I probably would have generated about 70 kilowatt hours. And what happens with that is that once I hit 100% for the power wall, I feed right back into the grid, and the utility pays me money for generating electricity. So I'm able to now cash a check or even get a credit for my electricity. And then I can enter into an agreement with them as a power purchase agreement where they actually will be able to tap into my batteries during peak hours, where I can charge the utility peak rates. So I can use this as a power plant. So literally, my home is now a power plant where I can sell electricity back to the utility in two ways, through regular net metering and then also through their program where they can take directly from my battery, and I can charge them, dollars on the cents, because I'm able to provide electricity towards peak hours, which is most important, which is usually between noon and 3 p.m. So once I do that, I'm able to get hundreds of dollars, per week from the utility company just by signing up for that program, because I have solar and I use so little electricity. As you see, I'm using 0.8 kilowatts that, I'm always in surplus. So this is another way for me to make money, take that money and reinvest it. But it's just knowing what you're doing. Okay. But the technology that they have at Tesla is really second to none, right? It just really is. When you start comparing the prices, and it's just second to none. So it's helped me be able to save money, particularly during the summertime. I'm in complete surplus and I'm getting money from the utility company instead of paying them money, in terms of the net amount of money that they get from me per year to the amount of money that I get from them per year. I'm in a positive situation instead of a negative situation. All right. So, Brother Keenan, we got your information. We're going to talk with Red Pill about doing something more regularly so that you can just make yourself available to the audiences, man, and be able to help these. Particularly, there's a lot of single mothers that are watching, and they would love to be able to make a quick phone call and solve something instead of someone coming to the house, some stranger that they don't know, and coming to your house and charging you $500 for just turning on a breaker.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes, that's exactly it.
Yeah, man. So I'd like to, at this point, Keenan, just if you have anything that you would like to add to, the listeners as to your services and your business, and what inspired you to go this route? Because I know you do home visits in Atlanta. Where did you see that there was a need to do this as an online service?
Well, actually, it was just through a conversation you and I had, and during the conversation, you sent me a couple of websites, and I just saw that there was actually a niche. I never, to be honest, I was more just of a service person. So I would call. I was actually doing this a lot of times to people to be helpful, and to, it didn't make sense to waste time going somewhere when it wasn't necessary. But what I saw was that there was actually a need, a bigger need than I actually, really thought about it. And so when I looked into it and saw that there were other people doing it, I already knew that in our community there was a need for this. I already knew there were single mothers. I already knew that you got a lot of men. Unfortunately, we about 3-4 generations of men growing up in apartment complexes with maintenance teams doing everything for them. So you got a lot of men that don't even understand how to do simple things for themselves. And I found, in HVAC, what you'll find when you learn certain skills is that, and this is why I say the things that I teach people, it lives with them for the rest of their lives. what I found in HVAC is if I'm at your house longer than 30 minutes or so, I'm typically doing an install. And within those 30 minutes, probably 40% of the things I'm doing, I actually could have talked someone through. So if you need to change a thermostat, it's no need for you to call a technician. You know, all you need to do is really understand what you need to do. And it's simple as any 1, 2, 3, 4 instructions you've ever followed to put a puzzle together. It's just that simple. But most people, like I say, my job is just to demystify the situation. You know, that's really what it is, to demystify the situation so people aren't scared to do for themselves, and to just and to be helpful in that way. And that's really the strong point, is not necessarily to just be there for people to call, but hopefully I'm there for people to call to learn something and to be able to take a skill with them, you know, for the rest of their life, that always save them money.
Absolutely. That's what we're here for, and that's the value. We're only interested in giving people value. Like,
Yeah.
you know, the way we do business is like, I want you to get more value than what you're paying for.
Exactly.
Right. And so, you know, you're not just going to learn to solve your problem at that moment in time, but you're going to learn how to solve the problem in perpetuity, and then teach your children how to solve that problem.
There you go.
And that's what it is. This is bringing us to a higher level of sophistication and education and training, where we're literally training ourselves to solve our own problems. And that's what sovereignty looks like, you know?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. And so we have been on for 2 hours now. And I was going to do some chart work, and we were going to look at some options, but we've really exhausted our time. So we'll push that back for next week. I did show some of the options I was in, some of the calls, and how they're doing, and they're doing great with the pick on ECVT, which is the sulfur company, and then US Oil and all of that. We'll go through some of these other picks as well for the crowd next week. Next week, we have a special guest who is a sister who's dynamic, who has some online businesses, because people want to know how they can live in different parts of the world and make money remotely. And she's a great example. So none of what we're going to be discussing is theory. This is all going to be practical, where these are people you can call. You can call Keenan and ask him questions. You can, do you have a phone number, Keenan, or do you prefer people to contact you through email?
I prefer the email. It just keeps everything more organized at this point in my business. I do have a phone number on my website, and typically I'm calling you back, but I initiate pretty much all my consultations through the website.
Okay. So people need to go to communityhandyman.org, not the community handyman, just communityhandyman.org, and
yes,
just take it from there. And tell Keenan you heard about him through the show. And so he knows that, you know, folks are tuning in and taking action, man. But I can tell you all, not just because Keenan's my brother and that's my friend, my brethren from a long time, but he's one of the most honest people that I know, if not probably the most honest person that I personally know, and
give thanks.
Competent, absolutely competent in the field that he's in. And so it will be your pleasure to work with Keenan to solve your problems, because he solved mine.
And it'll be my pleasure as well to help you out.
Yeah, man. So we want to bring that for you all next week. We're going to be talking with Sister Nicola Asante from Houston, who now lives in Rwanda, East Africa. And she's going to talk about her journey. She's going to talk about what she does. She has an AI company. She has a company that deals with international homeschooling. Is a very dynamic sister, and I believe that her story needs to be told and shared with people so you can envision that type of sovereignty for yourself, that type of financial flexibility for yourself, and how you can present yourself in the world without having to be a 9-to-5 wage employee, and to be somebody who brings value. And in return, people pay you so that you can have choices and to have time freedom. And this is what it's all about. So you all will see the method to the madness of why I'm implanting certain conversations into the minds of people, because what I want you to be able to do is emulate people who've been successful. There's too many talkers, but I'm going to be able to show and prove to you people who've actually conquered the space of being financially free and having them available for you to ask them any questions so that you can get to that point in your life as well. So this is just what it is, man. So next week, tune in for Wealth Results with myself, Brother Red Pill, Anthony Muhammad, SANKOFA Revolutionary Radio. We'll go over, whatever's happening and the positions that I'm taking. Those of you who are interested in following my trades, go to HERUtrades.com. We didn't stream today on HERUtrades.com because we had Brother Keenan on, and I wanted him to get to as many people as possible. When we start doing like the stocks that I'm in, the positions that I have, I won't have that on Facebook and I won't have that on YouTube. That will be strictly on our private properties because Facebook and YouTube don't deserve that information. Only the listeners who go to our properties can actually tune into that information, because this is for the family. It's not for Mark Zuckerberg. It's not for Sergey Brin and the other owners of YouTube. This is for our people and the people who follow what we're doing to just transfer over to our website, transition over to the website, HERUtrades.com, when it comes to investing in positions and trading. Then that's Wednesdays. And then on Mondays, we have the live broadcast for health, which is even more sensitive to censorship. And, last week, this Monday, Red Pill's listeners, we transitioned to his Zoom, and my listeners, we transitioned to herbalresults.net, where I have a page in the navigation bar for live broadcasts. That's how we're going to be doing it week after week. Every Monday is health. We got a impromptu health testimonial today with celiac disease reversal, and we expect to get more. Monday, we're going to have high blood pressure reversal with Herbal Results products. We'll may have a prostate cancer reversal call in. And then next Wednesday, we're going to have Nikala Asante reporting live from our beloved Africa. She's, coming from Houston, and she's going to talk about her journey and, as a single mother and how she's been able to navigate and prosper and do well. She just bought land in Africa. She's going to talk about that process. And I would advise next Wednesday, tune in, get ready to take notes. Nikala is going to be available to y'all, and she's going to break it down step by step, the things that she's done and how you can emulate that. So we're going to have people on this show who are worthy of emulation. We're going to be able to give you all the blueprint as to how people got free, instead of just, having arguments and divisive conversations with each other about, this or that doesn't get us anywhere. If you're that type of person, these conversations are not for you. Conversations for just those of us who are looking to have unity, sovereignty, technical prowess, and the ability to pass this information down to our children so that they do not have to go through the hurdles that we went through. We create a better life for them so that they don't have to fill out a resume for anybody. They can be self-actualized people with choices because their parents have set down a foundation for them to be able to extract wealth from whatever system that they're in a very, very beautiful way through stocks, real estate, business investments, and what have you. So hopefully the show has been helpful for y'all. We are going to be doing this every week. Monday, 9 a.m. health. Wednesday, 9 a.m. wealth. That's Eastern Standard Time. So hopefully this show has been helpful to you all. We want it to be helpful. We usually, have an hour slated, but we always go over. That's just giving you all more value. But you all have been introduced to someone who's going to solve your problems. That is the community handyman. You go to communityhandyman.org, and we're going to take it from there, y'all. I expect that anybody who's got any of these issues, give Keenan a call first. You'll find out that you're going to save hundreds of dollars on home visits that are not necessary. And you're going to be always able to contact this brother for the problems that you have. And if he can't solve your problem, he'll show you a place where you can go to solve it, and at least be able to compare price quotes that you're getting to tell you if someone's overcharging you for a certain service, which is definitely worth more than the $30 he's going to charge you. So thank you all for tuning in. Next week, Nicola Asante, we might go over some charts. We'll go over some of these stock positions that I have. But those of you all who are, let's just end with this. Those of you all who are, used to trading or investing, you can go to HERUtrades.com, just show you all the website, and I'll just show you all how to navigate that real quick. We have many people who are registered as people who get subscriptions, and people are making money. They're just following the trades that I do, but I'm asking people to make sure that you have some type of experience. Okay. And what I'll do, maybe once every month, I'll do a training, or at least videos of trainings that you all can tune into. And I'll share that with you all next week. But if you, right now I'm sharing the website, HERUtrades.com. This is for people who have some type of experience in trading. So it's up right now. And what you're going to do is just go there and you can register. I'm going to take off the 1 week registration subscriptions, because sometimes there'll be a week where things aren't looking good, and I'm not going to force a trade just because you signed up for 1 week. So the 1 month is better. And what we do is that you can follow my trades with Forex pairs. The other portal is cryptos, metals, and indexes, and then stock options. So you just choose whichever one. Some people sign up for all three. Some people just sign up for one. And you choose whichever one you're more comfortable with. For Forex, I use cryptos, metals, and indices. I use Hugo's Way. For stock options, I use Robinhood. And if you got any questions, just hit me up through the website. Just go to the contact, and we'll get you set up properly on the website if you got any questions. But this is only for people who have some type of advanced trading, who know what to do and know what a pip is and all that. If you're someone who doesn't know anything at all, there are some videos that I will refer you to probably next week. You'll get those. You'll get a link to those videos, and you could do a little study and learn how to get in with this, right? Because I just want you all to be conversant and really understand that you should be having your money grow instead of making all your money through labor. It should be made, a good percentage of your money should be made through investments. We're going to show you how to do that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is we're going to sign off right now. No need to transition to HERUtrades.com. Want as many people to see this as possible with our good brother Keenan on. And I know that we've gotten a good listenership. Usually within the first 2 hours, you get about 3,000 to 5,000 people who've tuned in. So this has been very, very informative for a lot of people as I'm getting messages. And remember, if you got any type of household issues, you need a handyman, give Keenan a call first. Let him try to solve your problem, or at least check out the price quotes that you're getting, make sure that you're not being bamboozled. And it's beautiful being here. Thank you for listening to the crowd. I know you could be doing anything between 9 and 11 a.m., but you tuned in because you're getting value from this show. And we're going to be doing this every week for you all. Okay, Mondays is health, Wednesdays is wealth. I'll close out by having Brother Red Pill and Brother Keenan have the last words.
Communityhandyman.org. We're your vital resource to help you save money with your greatest asset and your greatest investment, which is your home. We're here to demystify all the repairs that you need. Small repairs, we can help you. We can walk you through it. And for major repairs, you can consult us to make sure that people aren't taking your money. So communityhandyman.org. Give us a holler.
All right, Brother Red Pill.
Yes, indeed, Brother Red Pill, representing Know the Ledge, Know the Ledger, the Facts Initiative. We have an event coming up on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We will be in North Carolina, ladies and gentlemen. The event is called Clause 72, and that's an acronym. K for knowledge, L for legacy, A for autonomy, W for wealth, and S for strategy. We're going to be teaching the family how to utilize the new AI tools, the agentic AI that actually works for you. You don't have to work for anyone moving forward as long as this technology is functional. You now have at least 100 automated agents that can do your bidding, that can do your work. The training that the majority of our people received from corporate America, you can now use it to empower yourself. All of that training to learn their system, they have now developed tools that respond to your training. So the AI responds to intelligence. It's called artificial intelligence, but it has personas baked into it, and it will activate based off of your intelligence. So because it's an LLM, it's a large language model which responds to keyword types. It could tell in the first 5 minutes if you are operating on a 5th grade level of education, or if you are an expert, and it will respond to you accordingly. So what we want to encourage our brothers and sisters that got fired, that got severance packages, that are unemployed, that now is the opportunity and the best time ever in life that you could take that information, you could take that data, you could take that training and that learning and become what they call a one-man billion-dollar business. Go and look it up. They already have those cases. They're coming in every day of one-man billion-dollar unicorn businesses, and they're using the AI, they're using the technology to scale. So we're not about to sit around and watch that happen. We're not playing victim. We're not letting the mainstream media fool us and trick us like they tricked us with crypto. They tricked us with the Jabberwock, the jab. They tricked us and tripped us with everything. We're not allowing that to happen. Everything that's happening right now, ladies and gentlemen, is for your benefit. Things are falling so you can rise. Tap in with us, Clause 72.
And as my good brother Red Pill says, is that we're providing this for you, but it's then up to you to do the heavy lifting, right? Which is showing a certain level of urgency in applying yourself and immersing yourself in the information that we're giving you to be able to walk this out. So the heavy lifting is going to be up to you all. We're going to provide the situation for you, but as Brother Red Pill said, it's leg day. It's leg day. It's leg day, and it's going to be leg day moving forward if you're looking to change your situation to be financially free. You know, I'm starting to use that term, man. It's leg day.
It's leg day. Everybody, when they hear that, they know exactly what that means. It's time to do some things that you might not be. Because when I speak on AI, this is not me handing you the kingdom. This is not me giving you anything. This is just me showing you through my demonstration and the people that I'm affiliated with that we're using it. But it took a lot of leg days to get here. A lot of squats, a lot of lifting, a lot of pushing, a lot of bench pressing. This did not come overnight. It won't come overnight to you. Literally, like Keenan is sharing with you, this is an upskill. So if you were to learn HVAC, you are upskilling in your tool belt, which will add value to your tool shed. And that is how we move forward. And collectively, we become more valuable. Individually, we become more valuable for ourselves and those around us. Collectively, we become more valuable for our village and our nation. So if there's a magical tool shed that I could point you to and say, if you go into this tool shed right now and I show you how to use these tools, you will walk out of here like Bob the Builder 10X, right? But you got to be able to pick the tool up and yield it. If you're not willing to do that, then you don't deserve to be in that tool shed. And there's nothing against anyone who have a fear of tools, but I will let you know that it's all mental. Get over it And you know, don't invite me to your pity party. But this last time I checked, this was about melanated people upskilling, right? We watch all these YouTube videos and you got your favorite teachers because they have said something out of their mouths and they've expressed something that has you say, I want to learn what they learned. They know something that I don't know. Well, I'm here to let you know we're in a day and time where you could literally learn anything. Give yourself permission, y'all. The victimhood era ended. This is the year of the fire horse, Neptune and Aries. We in a new timeline. You got to act accordingly, or you're going to, I'm gonna end it with this. You're gonna feel the weight of time speeding up. Everybody is fatigued and they feeling all not the time is speeding up. You're not speeding up with it though. You're not. The technology has advanced so much that time has sped up, but there are people who are living in that. They're living in the quantum. They're living sped up. They're like, yo, time ain't speeding up around me. I'm good. If you fight this, you can't fight time. And time has sped up. We're in a quantum reality and whatnot. You have to pick up tools that are going to reflect that. Pick up the tools and learn the technology that will help you with the speed. And with that being said, I'm gonna land my plane. Thank you for everybody, and we will be back on YouTube later on.
That's right. Don't forget, it's leg day, y'all. It's leg day. It's leg day. For real. All right, y'all. So we'll see you all on Monday for health results, and then next Wednesday with more wealth results. Big up to everybody. Bless.